You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the deadline for paying property taxes is coming up soon. We'll have some information on that.
But first, Mrs. Claus reminds people of the reason for the season.
And take a look at this sunrise. A beautiful but very cold start to the day here in the 4 states. Talk about some gusty winds and warmer temperatures later today coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m., of course, here on this finally Friday, December the 19th. Christmas is right around the corner. Hopefully you have... Okay.
Hopefully you aren't coughing like Chris.
Yeah, I don't know what that kid was. Well, hopefully you have finished your shopping. You're close to finishing the shopping. And if you have finished, there are some other ways you can help out.
You know, people are trying to get into this spirit of the season outside of even just gift giving. And a coffee house in Jay, Oklahoma looks to serve up more than hot beverages thanks to a familiar face from the North Pole.
As KOAM's Ty Park shows us in our Doing Good segment, Mrs. Claus is spreading holiday cheer and the joy of giving.
In Jay, Oklahoma, a woman saw a need in the community and stepped up.
People will come to Mrs. Claus sometimes before they'll go to a pastor, because I'm less threatening.
Mrs. Claus has a purpose to remind people of the reason for the season.
And it's the whole idea, the spirit of giving. And so the reason Mrs. Claus exists is to teach children there's more happiness in giving than there is in receiving. And the first thing they do is when they are brought up here to me as a family, is I introduce them to the story of Christmas. The reason that we give is because God gave the greatest gift, which is Jesus Christ.
There is a selection of gifts that the children can give to their parents, as well as shopping areas to get toys for the children.
Where there are a lot of people that are financially stressed and don't have a way to buy presents for their children. And so we are transitioning our church into an outreach church. We want to reach out in the community, not within totally our physical building, but also we want to go out in the community.
Mrs. Claus Coffee House will be at the Jay Bible Church. People can stop by, grab a coffee, talk to Mrs. Claus about anything. In Jay, Oklahoma, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Anyone can help the Jay Bible Church or donate if they're interested. Just reach out to the church for more information.
Certainly a lot of folks doing good, especially around the holidays, but also a reminder too, you can do good year round. It doesn't have to just be around the holiday season.
And that's something I really love about Ty's Doing Good segment, which he does an incredible job with, is, you know, throughout the year he's showing all these organizations and groups of people who get together, you know, to support the community and show love year round.
Certainly so, and that's a very important thing. And I'm not doing good with the weather, and it's not that it's wrong, it's just it's out of my hands, guys. It's very cold this morning, and by Christmas it is going to be very warm, and we'll go over that in a moment. But first, let's get our Friday started with Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds from downtown Pittsburgh. They just flew right by that thing, and there they go. They were like almost point-blank range with the camera a moment ago. Skies are clear, though it is cold. Our camera 7th at Rangeline, another great view of the sunrise and those beautiful colors this morning. And as we take a look quickly at the KDOT camera, 69,400 along 171, looking good. Here comes that sunshine right up overhead. And the MoDOT camera, 32nd in Rangeline in Joplin, looking good. Now, right now, this traffic light is a great view of when it's windy. It's not really moving too much, but our winds are going to start to increase out of the south, and that's going to help us warm up a bit later today. We're sitting at 24 in Joplin, 19 in Pittsburgh, and while these colors do blend beautifully together, the temperatures that are underneath those colors or represented by those colors are not so beautiful. It is 17 in Parsons. That's our cold spot right now. And we got some 27s down South Grove and Jay, so that's the warmer spots. Most of us upper teens and low to mid 20s as we start the day. Like I said, right now the breeze isn't bad yet. It's starting to pick up a bit in some spots, so it feels like 10 in Iola, 11 in Fort Scott. And our temperatures this morning, look at this. Parsons actually going back there, 40 degrees colder right now than where the temperature was this time yesterday morning. That's where we sit. A much colder start to the day, but we will again start to warm up. South winds will gradually increase across the area, start gusting upwards of 30, so not as breezy as yesterday, but still pretty windy. We'll have just a few clouds here and there, so otherwise mostly clear skies, not a bad day. And our temperatures pretty close to normal, at or maybe a pinch above. We're going to go low 30s by 9, mid 40s by noon. At our highs today, upper 40s, low 50s, and again with those south winds gusting upwards of 30. We remain breezy tonight, and our temperatures from sunset on aren't expected to move much. We're a little warmer tomorrow, got a cold front, maybe some rain Sunday, and a very warm Christmas holiday. We're going to go over all of that in detail with you here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. Authorities have now charged a man following a police chase that led to an officer-involved shooting. The incident happened Wednesday morning when a JPD officer spotted a suspected impaired driver on Main Street. The chase began after Berkey Bile drove away following a stop attempt. Once finally stopped, he drove towards the officer, who then fired shots. Authorities arrested Berkey Bile after he rammed another patrol car. No officers were injured. JPD placed the involved officer on administrative leave during the investigation. Well, Newton County prosecutors submitted multiple charges against this man, Phil Berkey Bile III of Joplin. Among the charges, second-degree assault on a special victim and aggravated fleeing. Authorities took Berkey Bile to a local hospital after suffering non-life-threatening injuries from a gunshot wound in a vehicle crash. He's currently in the Newton County Jail on a no-bond ward. Well, authorities arrest another officer involved in a shooting suspect after he leaves the hospital. Wednesday, the McDonald County Sheriff's Office learned this man, Dylan Martinez, the suspect in an officer-involved shooting from last month, was being released from a Springfield hospital after suffering multiple gunshot wounds. However, Martinez has already left the hospital and took a taxi to Bella Vista, Arkansas. Yesterday, Missouri and Arkansas authorities took Martinez into custody without incident. Martinez has multiple charges pending in both Missouri and Arkansas. The officer involved in the shooting, Deputy Mike Hall, was treated and released the day of the incident. Well, whether you're a fan of paying your taxes or not, the bill has come due for residents in Missouri and Kansas. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more on what property owners should do to prevent themselves from paying more than what they have to.
The end of the year is near, and in the midst of planning holiday parties and buying gifts for the family, there is something else that should be on people's lists. Taxes.
The deadline to pay without any penalties, and the penalty is 9%, is midnight December 31st.
For residents in Missouri. And for those who live in Kansas.
First half of 2025 is the tax year we're working in now. The first half of 2025 is due normally December 20th. This year, since December 20th falls on a Saturday, it will be Monday, December 22nd.
Failure to pay will result in penalties.
Standard penalty of 9%. That's the law.
After December 22nd this year, interest is accruing daily. It's a simple interest, so it's not compound or anything. It's simple interest. It accrues daily. And again, that will only be on the first half. It doesn't accrue on the full payment since the second half isn't due until May 10th.
With the holiday season being stressful enough, both Jasper County and Crawford County offer property owners multiple ways to pay.
So you can pay online, pay in person, mail it, or hit the drop boxes. And we're doing the best we can to help make it as convenient as possible for the taxpayer to avoid the interest and penalties.
Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
An important note for Missouri residents in Jasper County, the full amount of taxes owed must be paid now. There is currently no way to pay in installments. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, the NASCAR community mourns the death of former race car driver Greg Biffle. And later, a measles outbreak in South Carolina puts unvaccinated children at risk. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Topping Nation Watch, the NASCAR community is mourning after former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and some of his immediate family members died when a small private jet crashed in North Carolina Thursday morning. This according to a statement from Biffle's family members. Colin Jeffrey reports.
Approximately 10:15 a.m., we got a report of a corporate jet that crashed off the end of the runway on the east end.
Former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle, his wife Christina, and their 2 children, Ryder and Emma, were among 7 people killed after a small private plane crashed at Statesville Regional Airport Thursday morning.
It's been a multi-agency response.
According to a release from the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, the post-crash fire has prevented the agency from releasing a definitive list of who was on board, but a statement from Biffle's family members confirms their deaths. 3 other people were also killed in the crash.
The airport now is closed until further notice.
Biffle is a licensed pilot, but it's not yet clear who was flying the aircraft or the reason for the crash.
I've watched racing for a long time, NASCAR, and I followed Greg.
Fans have already left flowers in honor of Biffle's legacy.
The memorial being started here, I think they're going to run out of room.
North Carolina Governor Josh Stein posted on X that Biffle, quote, stepped up for Western North Carolina after Hurricane Helene.
Followed them when they did the Hurricane Helene help, and I'm in shock.
Preliminary flight tracking data shows a Cessna Citation 550 left the airport around 10 a.m., traveled about 5 miles, then made a left U-turn back toward the airport. According to FlightAware, the plane did not climb higher than 2,000 feet. I'm Colin Jeffrey reporting.
The NTSB team investigating the crash arrived last night and will provide more details on the incident today. Well, authorities announced the death of a man connected to a mass shooting at a Rhode Island university and the killing of an MIT professor in Boston. U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts, Leah Foley, says a search for Claudio Neves Valente ended when they found him deceased in New Hampshire last night. Neves Valente was the prime suspect in a shooting at Rhode Island's Brown University on Saturday, killing 2 and injuring 9 others. Foley says the suspect was already found to have ties to MIT professor Nuno Luero, who was found dead in his apartment on Monday. Foley says the suspect came from Portugal to study at Brown from 2000 to 2021. And one of the most significant changes to U.S. drug policy since the 70s, President Donald Trump is easing federal restrictions on marijuana. It's an effort to open the door for more research opportunities, but as Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, there will still be some major restrictions on the drug's recreational use.
I've always told my children, don't take drugs, no drinking, no smoking, and just stay away from drugs.
Although he's not a fan of the drug, President Trump signed an executive order Thursday to recognize marijuana as a less dangerous substance, reclassifying it from a Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 drug, the same category as Xanax and ketamine.
40 states allow medical use, and over 6 million Americans are legally using it under their physician supervision.
The order doesn't legalize marijuana for recreational use at the federal level, but it will make it easier for experts to study the drug's potential benefits for seniors, veterans, and people with chronic pain.
Thank you, Mr. President, for supporting careful, science-based research that puts patients first.
It'll open up a whole new method of treatment for our veterans.
A group of House Republicans tried to convince President Trump not to sign the executive order. 26 signed onto a letter that says, reclassifying marijuana will send the wrong message to America's children, enable drug cartels, and make our roads more dangerous. The president acknowledged this move may be seen as controversial, but says the medical benefits can't be ignored.
So many people that I respect ask me to do it. People that are having problems, big problems.
A recent Gallup poll finds that 64% of Americans support legalizing marijuana. Again, this order doesn't do that, but it's a major step for medical research. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
That's a look at some of today's top national stories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:18. On this Friday morning, we are starting with our future track. See, there it is. So here's what's going to happen. Yes, we are very cold this morning, but we will warm up courtesy some south winds, but the caveat here is those south winds will be gusting up to 30. So not as strong as yesterday, but still, if you're driving high-profile vehicles, east-west highways, you want to be cautious over the next couple of days because we're going to have gusty winds today, tonight, and into tomorrow as well. Just a few clouds here and there, so mostly clear or clear skies across the region. As I said, that does help us warm up. Now, an interesting thing to note is what's going to happen with our temperatures this evening. Once we reach about sunset, wherever your temperature is at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, it isn't really going to move after that. So, of course, up north it might be a little cooler, down south might be a little warmer, but if you hit, say, if you're at 46 at 6 o'clock, or you're 43 at 6 o'clock, that temperature shouldn't move much, if at all, through the rest of the evening and overnight tonight. Gusty winds increase a bit tonight and start gusting to 35. On Saturday, though, as this cold front pushes through the area, by noon it's along I-44. It moves through pretty quickly. We'll have gusty winds out of the north back behind it, and outside of that, not much. We'll have mostly clear skies again. We'll start going partly cloudy later in the evening and into the overnight hours on our Saturday. Sunday, we're going to start off partly cloudy, and then clouds will actually begin to increase a bit. They might even thin out briefly in the afternoon before they begin increasing late in the evening, say after 8, 9 o'clock. I will start to have an opportunity for some isolated showers here or there. I think the majority of us right now are looking to be dry late Sunday, but a shower or two not out of the question here and there. And you can see too, as we head into Monday, those winds back out of the south again as we'll start to warm up. A nice sunrise this morning, clear skies out there. Again, cold though, so bundle up. Mid-20s to start, right around the low 40s by 11 o'clock this morning. Our highs today pretty close to normal, maybe a bit above as we go upper 40s and low 50s. And again, those south winds gusting to 30. And this is what I was talking about. Those temperatures just stop. Now, it could go down to 45 or maybe bump up to 47, but it should level out at a certain point wherever you are again around sunset and stay that way overnight. South winds gusting to 35. Tomorrow, upper 50s, low 60s. That cold front comes through, and yes, our temperatures are going to fall back a bit, but even then, our lows still above normal Saturday night into Sunday. Low 50s. Isolated evening shower here or there. With those south winds, take a look at what happens as we head into Christmas. I know this looks like a forecast from St. Patrick's Day or heading into April, and it's not. This is really, truly what we're going to get heading into Christmas. We're mid-70s on Christmas Eve, upper 60s, low 70s on Christmas Day. So again, I guess there's two sides to all of it. The negative is the fact it's not going to feel like Christmas whatsoever. But the positive is, you don't have to worry about road conditions if you're traveling, especially if you're traveling locally. And kids, if they get gifts, they can go outside and play with them. So you can take a nap inside or just relax for a minute. They can go outdoors and enjoy whatever it is they might get for Christmas. And it stays mild heading into the upcoming weekend. Couple of showers possible Saturday, back to the low 50s next Sunday. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch. Lawmakers are heading home for the holidays without fixing soaring healthcare costs. And the message on Capitol Hill is to wait until next year. Some Republicans broke ranks to support renewing Obamacare subsidies, signaling frustration with GOP leadership. Meanwhile, Democrats remain skeptical, warning the damage may be irreversible after January 1st. Some Republicans want a complete overhaul in 2026, hoping special rules can bypass the Senate filibuster for a partisan bill. People with depression and anxiety face a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, and a new study looks at the reason. Research from Mass General Brigham shows that stress-related brain activity caused by depression and anxiety is linked to heart disease. Researchers say the findings reinforce that mental health and physical health are closely connected, and doctors and patients need to address both. Nicotine is bad for your heart and circulatory system, no matter how you consume it. Research published in the European Heart Journal found whether nicotine is vaped, smoked, or from a pouch, it's toxic to the heart and blood vessels. The information comes at a time when more young people are trying nicotine, fueled by the popularity of e-cigarettes. Well, cases of measles are still popping up across South Carolina, putting unvaccinated children at risk. This is the newest hotspot in the U.S. for the highly contagious and potentially dangerous disease. Skylar Henry has the latest on the growing threat.
Across South Carolina, mobile health units have been offering free measles vaccine since October as state health officials respond to a growing outbreak. 135 people have been infected, and more than 168 people are currently in quarantine in the upstate region. State health leaders say declining immunization rates are fueling the spread.
When we lose the protection of vaccines against vaccine-preventable diseases, we are going to see the surge that we're seeing now.
The impact is being felt most in Spartanburg County, where vaccine rates are among the lowest in the state.
Parents are fearful.
Dr. Robin LaCroix is a pediatric infectious disease specialist and says the risk could grow as people travel for the holidays.
Because this virus is so contagious to people who don't have immunity, that it's very easily spread.
The CDC has tracked nearly 2,000 confirmed cases across 43 states this year, the most on record since the disease was declared eradicated more than 2 decades ago. 3 people have died.
So then how does this get better?
The way that we are able to control these vaccine-preventable diseases is by getting high levels of protection within a community.
For the first time in more than 2 decades, the U.S. is at risk of losing its measles elimination status, a warning sign that outbreaks like this one are becoming more frequent and harder to contain.
Well, coming up, local business leaders face new challenges in 2026. But first, here's a look at some Santa photos from across the 4 states.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. I'm Samantha Walker. As 2026 approaches, local business leaders face new challenges, from cash management to succession planning. The biggest hurdle, keeping up with rapidly advancing technology and AI. KOAM's Kenny Foreman shows us how one group is helping companies navigate these changes.
As 2026 approaches, there are a wide range of questions that business leaders are facing.
Cash management, retirement planning, looking at just how you're developing your business and where you're going to go. And then ultimately down the road, succession planning. What's my plan to exit the business, and what's the plan for the business after I leave, and then what's my personal plan to give me purpose to do things outside of the business.
What makes this upcoming year unique is the ever-growing role of technology, which is constantly seeing advancements.
Probably the biggest challenge now is trying to keep up. Technology moves really, really fast. And if you are not able to stay the course or even understand the new technology landscape, most likely you're going to get left behind.
One topic that businesses will have to think about going into 2026 is the role of AI. The common consensus today is that there is a space for it in business, provided it's utilized correctly.
There is something about experience, wisdom, and connection with people that people are still going to be looking for that. But it's a great productivity tool. So I think there's an opportunity for business to embrace it. How do we get better? How do we provide better solutions for our clients, but still take that through the human filter to make sure what AI is providing makes sense when it comes to advice?
It may all sound overwhelming, but Stronghold Data remains committed to helping others.
You Learn to Learn is for the community. It's for them to understand better their technology needs, understand that there is someone here in the community that they can turn to that can help them out.
In Joplin, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Stronghold Data works with businesses to assist them with a wide range of technological needs. Any interested businesses are welcome to call or visit their website. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got an absolutely beautiful sunrise out there this morning. In fact, here it comes off over the horizon from our camera downtown Pittsburgh over to our camera 7th and range line. Again, the tower it's positioned on. If I turn it this way, you're not going to see the sun itself. You're just going to see the tower. But the sun rising skies are clear with the exception of a couple of little light clouds out there. KDOT camera 69 400 along 171 here, looking good as well. And one last stop, the MoDOT camera 32nd in range line in Joplin. Looks pretty fantastic so far, doesn't it? I think so. However, it's the temperatures. They don't look so fantastic right now. We're sitting at 24 in Joplin, 19 in Pittsburgh and across the area. Again, this is a nice blend of colors, but it's the temperatures that they represent that are not so nice. 15 in Iola right now. We've got mid-upper teens and low to mid-20s. Bentonville right now, the warm spot sitting at 27 degrees, and winds gradually starting to pick up, and even then a light breeze when it's cold enough is just enough to make for a wind chill that's unpleasant. 7. That's what it feels like in Iola. 7. All right, wind chills otherwise into the teens for some of us, and we got some low 20s out there. Our temperatures this morning almost 40 degrees colder now than where we were at this same time yesterday morning. So it's still a pretty big temperature drop. We will start to warm up, though. South winds will begin to increase through the morning. They'll be gusting up to 30. We'll have just a few clouds here and there, otherwise clear skies, and our temperatures will be at or maybe a hair above normal as we head into the afternoon. We're looking at the low 30s by 9, mid 40s by noon, and some upper 40s, low 50s for those highs. And again, the big thing, those south winds gusting to 30s. They're not as windy as yesterday, but still quite breezy out there. So if you're driving a high-profile vehicle, east-west highways, just be cautious. Gusty winds will continue tonight into tomorrow. We have that cold front, some warmer temperatures, some cooler temperatures, and we'll look at Christmas, the Christmas week forecast here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. The Community Health Center for Southeast Kansas is launching a new pharmacy residency program to train and retain pharmacists in rural areas. This postgraduate program is seeking accreditation from the American Society of Health System Pharmacists. Residents will get hands-on experience in patient care, specialty pharmacy, leadership, education, and administration, plus personalized mentorship to support their growth.
By bringing in these pharmacists for a year of continued training, we are adding an additional team member to help expand our services. We are also hopeful that adding this team member and letting them spend a year with us, we have the potential to retain a highly skilled team.
Program leaders say the goal is to advance health education, address pharmacist shortages in rural areas, and prepare highly skilled professionals to make a long-term impact in the community. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker shares his top 3 stories for the week. But first, here's a look at some Santa photos from across the 4 states. Well, welcome back. We're joined this morning with Shannon Becker in the studio to break down his big three news stories of the week. Good morning, Shannon.
Good morning. Things well?
I think so. How about you?
It's a heat wave. Loving this weather. Loving it.
Doesn't feel like December and doesn't feel like less than a week till Christmas.
I'm not complaining. Let's take a look at our big 3 stories this week, live and local, what's happening where you live. I heard you talk about the oversized load. I went to Northeast Oklahoma to find it. So here's what's happened. This oversized load, 16 feet tall, and normally 14 feet is the max that you can travel on the interstates. He struck, they're estimating right now that they're going to have to repair 6 bridges. They started yesterday. So this large piece of metal or whatever it was, we found it in Mays County. In fact, they'll be working in the bridge right there next to it on 370th Road all day today and then into the night. No one was injured in all of these bridges struck, but could you imagine the insurance? Your insurance would pay for these repairs. It's not like the state absorbs something like this. So let's hope they were insured, right? Our number 2 story, live and local. It was a call to 911 in Carthage on Friday evening. A woman said, my boyfriend just shot himself. Carthage Fire Department, Carthage Police, everyone arrived. And within about 20 minutes, I'm told, they determined it was a homicide investigation. They investigated and interviewed the woman during the evening and overnight, and then she was charged murder, homicide, 2nd degree at the Victorian Courtyard Apartments in Carthage. She's in the Jasper County Jail currently. More details of that developing story right now. Our number 1, KOAM News Now. We were live here on Wednesday morning. A suspect driving about 100 miles an hour south on Main Street. It became a police pursuit, obviously, and then as the officer tried to block in the suspect, you kind of say, on Glendale Boulevard here. He had kind of crashed out. He got out of the ditch and drove toward the officer. The officer then fired shots at the suspect, who was struck, but the pursuit continued another 2 miles back to the Come and Go at 50th and Main. He was taken into custody. He is now in the Newton County Jail. There were non-life-threatening gunshot wounds and also was injured in that crash there. The young man is from Joplin. He's a 20-year-old man. You can find out more details, of course, also on our website. Here's a little lighthearted stuff, though. It's our bonus for the week, the Way of Salvation Christmas lights. It's on our KOAM Joplin News First Christmas light list. We've got them all, okay? So I think there's about 30 this year. Now, I love that. That's at the Carthagewood, at the Way of Salvation. This is in Hickory Hills. They have the 1950s blow molds. They're kind of retro. You can also see them at the Joplin Museum complex. They have them.
Yes, I helped him decorate.
Oh, you did? You know Dustin Molinaro?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right,
yes.
yeah. So that is so, these are my favorites because it's, for me, I'm old. So I like that old stuff. It's kind of cool. So the list is all arranged kind of in different areas. And then if you can click on each one, it'll give you directions from where you are to where they are. This is in Webb City at the King Jack Park. They were doing the Polar Bear Express this last weekend. What fun. And they've got a lot of lights throughout the whole park there in King Jack Park. You got to check it out, our Christmas light list. There's none other like it.
No, and I know you spend so much time on it, Shannon. I know community members are so grateful because, you know, it makes it easy for them because, you know, you're like, you could always just drive around and see what you see.
You'll see nothing.
You'll see what you see, but you'd be like, okay, you know what? We have an hour tonight. The kids are going to get tired.
Yeah.
Let's look at this list and just see where to go.
Well, thank you. I love it.
Well, thank you so much, Shannon, for joining us this morning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News at 7:44 on this Friday morning. We're going to start with that look at the future track again. So this morning, as we showed you earlier, we are upwards of 40 degrees colder right now than where we were at this time 24 hours ago. We are in the teens and 20s. Now, we will warm up, courtesy of these south winds we're going to talk about, and we'll warm up even more so tomorrow. There's some changes, a bit of a bouncy weekend, and then next week is just bizarre and not so nice. But it's nice, but not nice. You'll find out. All right, let's start with Friday, though. Today, south winds start increasing through the morning. They'll be gusting upwards of about 30 miles an hour or so. So again, not as windy as yesterday, but still quite windy. And so if you're driving high-profile vehicles, east-west highways today, tonight, or tomorrow, you'll want to make sure you're paying attention because it's going to be pretty breezy again. Well, mostly clear skies, so just a few passing clouds here or there. We go overnight, and for a bit, those wind gusts could increase upwards of 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. And they'll ease back down to about 30 once we get past sunrise. So not a big change, but nonetheless, there it is. Cold front pushes through pretty quickly. By noon, it's already along I-44. Behind it, north winds still gusting. That's what I was saying, even throughout the day tomorrow. Those north winds will still be pushing upwards of 30 miles an hour or so. But outside of that, our temperatures, again, won't plummet. We'll have mostly clear skies initially, eventually going partly cloudy later in the day. Temperatures do drop, but our overnight lows, even behind this cold front, will still be warmer than normal tomorrow night. Cooler than warmer than where we are this morning, cooler than where we will be tonight, but still above average. We go into Sunday. We got partly cloudy skies to start the day, and we're dry for the most part. In fact, we might even do some clearing into the afternoon. But once we get past about 9 o'clock Sunday evening, clouds will begin to increase, and we could get an isolated shower or two out there. I think most of us will be dry, but then the winds will also turn back out of the south, which is going to cause some changes to our temperatures. Through the morning, again, clear skies, mid-20s to start, so cold, but make the low 40s by 11. Our highs today close to or maybe a wee bit above normal, going into the upper 40s and low 50s, and those south winds again gusting to 30. 35, and this is what I was talking about too with our temperatures. Once we get to about sunset, maybe a little after, wherever you are temperature-wise, other than maybe a slight variation here or there, temperatures don't move. They lock into place right around the mid-40s, and those south winds gusting to 35. And then tomorrow, we'll go into the upper 50s, low 60s. The front comes through. We are chilly, back in the mid-30s, but that's still above normal. Low 50s on Sunday, and then I said those south winds kick in, and look at what happens as we head close to Christmas. I wish that was a typo, because I mean, I don't like the cold, but it's supposed to be cold for Christmas. That's not a typo. We're going upper 60s, low mid 70s for Christmas Eve, low 70s for Christmas Day. And we won't start cooling back again until we head into next weekend. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, even underwater animals get to enjoy a little Christmas spirit. Santa Claus and Mother Christmas putting on their diving equipment at the Marine Aquarium in Rio de Janeiro to help feed the marine life.
The tank holds 924,602 gallons of water and is even home to some sharks. The annual Christmas dive aims to highlight the importance of ocean conservation. That's pretty cool there. I mean, you gotta be careful with the sharks, you know.
Yeah, they were also very specific with that tank size.
That's oddly specific. That is it.
Those 2 gallons.
That makes the difference, man. I'm telling you, without those 2 gallons, it's over. The marine life just couldn't exist in there. Well, Santa is getting a little help from a 100-year-old California man. Meet Hal Yoke.
Not only is he 100 years old, but he makes wooden toys completely by hand. He spends all year making all sorts of toys, from ducks and cars to dinosaurs and noisemakers.
And then each year for the holidays, he opens up his workshop in his Garden Grove garage to sell his creations. This year, he says he's having his busiest year ever.
He's going to stay open throughout this weekend.
Well, he certainly enjoys doing that, and a lot of hard work going into what he's making there.
Definitely. It looks like it's very, very detailed. And, woodworking and, making those handmade toy crafts, is something kind of like a lost art almost now.
Yeah, it's getting to be.
Everything's plastic and...
I mean, everything's mass-produced, but that's okay. We got something else for you. Heading over to Parsons now.
Everyone down in Parsons likes ice cream a lot, but the Grinch who broke into the ice cream shop was caught.
Parsons police served justice in a case of Christmas chaos. Officers arrested the suspect, identified as the Grinch, for breaking into a local ice cream store to sample different flavors. Look at him go there.
He's got some speed going on him, and I love his little outfit. Oh, but even he wants to meet Santa. Well, witnesses spotted the Christmas criminal in different locations around Parsons before police apprehended him. However, in the spirit of the holidays, authorities released the Grinch from jail and required him to complete community service.
Well, that's, that will help his heart grow. That'll help him feel more connected to his communities if he's out there serving them, not taking from them.
His heart was too small, and you can see he's in the Christmas spirit. You saw how excited he was to meet Santa.
The Grinch loves Santa as much as anyone else does.
And maybe Santa talk some sense into him.
All right, Hanukkah lasts 8 nights, but these donuts rarely survive 8 minutes. Sufganiyot is popping up across the country. We found out why this sweet treat is worth every sticky finger. Smothered in rainbow sprinkles, drizzled in delicate lines of bitter chocolate, dipped in pistachio frosting, with a mountain of whipped cream on top.
Sufganiyot, the traditional fried donuts of Hanukkah, have come a long way from the traditional jelly-filled offerings sprinkled with a bit of powdered sugar. A regular fried jam-filled donut contains around 400 to 500 calories depending on size and filling, according to Israel's health ministry.
Now, in Hebrew, Hanukkah means dedication, and the holiday marks the rededication of the temple in Jerusalem in the 2nd century BC after a small group of Jewish fighters liberated it from occupying foreign forces and the Hasmonean kingdom that followed. Now, Jews celebrate the 8-day holiday, which this year began on December 14th with the ritual of lighting a nightly candle in honor of the tiny supply of ritually pure oil that they found in the temple that lasted for 8 nights instead of just 1.
Many also eat fried foods such as fried donuts, called sufganiyot, a fried dough popular among North African Jews called sfinge, or fried potato pancakes called latkes to memorize the miraculously long-lasting oil.
Certainly, a lot of celebrations. And, we talk a lot about Christmas, but there are so many different holiday celebrations and traditions that folks are celebrating, not just around the world, right here in the 4 states, everywhere. So it's great to see all these different traditions. And, no matter what your background is, sometimes it's very interesting, at least maybe to me. Maybe I'm just weird, but it's interesting to learn about all these cultures and all their celebrations, how they do what they do, because sometimes it's very fascinating.
And it's really cool to see the kind of food aspect of it as well, because I think
Yes.
that's one of the main thing across any culture, no matter what the food is what brings people together, because there's always that treat that you have to make. I made our family's tradition of haystacks yesterday for our Christmas get-togethers. So
There's always something. And we have something else for you. Your wake-up recap, perhaps, not really, and then we're going to also discuss your forecast, hopefully so, when we come back. We will warm up a bit today and eventually make the upper 40s, low 50s. So close to or a bit above normal. South winds gusting to 30 out there. And then through the evening, temperatures will level out. They're going to kind of stay stationary for a bit. South winds gusting to 35. Cold front comes through. Upper 50s, low 60s, gusty north winds behind the front, mid 30s, low 50s for our Sunday. Perhaps an isolated shower or two in the evening. And then next week, I don't know what that's all about. I don't control it. I just tell you about it. But it's been holding true. Upper 60s, maybe even some low to mid 70s heading into Christmas. So maybe you can bring out some Bing Crosby and I can never say the word, but the Hawaiian Christmas song. Yeah, that's probably the one you'll need as your opening gifts on Christmas Day. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this fine Friday morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
have a great rest of your morning.